Okay, just finished practice out there. I got to hand it to the players and the coaches. Did a great job with this week. It's been, all about adapting and being flexible and, adjusting by the minute, by the hour. And they were able to get a good practice in there today. I was able to watch on Zoom. And then I also should give credit to Rob Pavlis in our video department because they were updating the video system throughout the day. So I was able to click that on and watch it. So really well done across the board. And with that, going into this game, we understand what's at stake. We understand AFC opponent. I think the guys are excited for the challenge. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Coach. First one, Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Kevin, how you feeling?
Great.
Good. Hey, in terms of any new COVID tests today and anything new on the guys that have tested positive over the last 2 days?
Yeah, nothing new to report, Tom. Obviously for the guys that we put on the list, constant dialogue with them to number one, see how they're doing. And then number two, making sure that they're locked in and staying ready and staying, in the game plan, those type of things. And then, we'll just continue to follow the protocols, minute by minute, hour by hour.
Right. Then obviously, Kevin, other than some changes out there, obviously, and a lot of people missing, was it kind of your what a normal Friday practice would be?
It was, yeah, it was. And again, the guys across the board did a really nice job. We covered a lot of ground via virtual walkthroughs, virtual meetings, then finally getting them on the grass for what we term our Wednesday and Thursday practice. So to get out there today, to get full speed work in, I thought was really important. And again, credit to the guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Nate Orix is next.
Kevin, glad to hear you're feeling well, and a little bit of an awkward question, but are you ruling yourself out and then the other guys who are on COVID this week? Like, is everybody who landed on COVID this week going to be unavailable for Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know that we're ruling anybody out yet, Nate. Certainly when they tell me that we've run out of days in terms of negative tests and those type of things, that then it will be official, but I don't know that we're ruling any of those guys out just yet.
And I know for a Sunday, normal Sunday game, you have to activate by 4 p.m. Saturday. So will your deadline to be 4 p.m. tomorrow, Friday?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then was Ronnie Harrison was your only positive today?
Yes, Ronnie's positive, so he'll go on the COVID list. And again, I think it just speaks to we're following the protocols really hourly and just making sure that we're doing everything that we need to do to keep you guys safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. We'll go to Jake Trotter.
In Jadeveon, we noticed they weren't out there today. They would have been away from practice yesterday with rest if you guys had practice. So do you expect them to play? Any issues there?
I do expect both those guys to play.
Thanks, Jake. Mary Kay Cabot, you're up.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Miles and Jadeveon, but just, having Harrison Bryant back out there, having David Njoku back out there, I mean, did that add a little bit of, I know you weren't there yourself, but did that add a little boost to the practice to get a couple of guys back out there?
It looked good from my vantage point, Mary Kay. But yeah, David did a nice job. Harrison, I'll continue to talk with the coaches and see how he's doing, but was pleased with the work that he was able to get in today.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. We'll go to Matt Fontana.
Yeah, Kevin, with so many players on the COVID list, but you still have some of your stalwarts. You mentioned Miles, Denzel and Nick. Do you need those guys to step up in a game like that, or are you trying to tell them, hey, just everybody do your job?
Yeah, I think it's that, Matt. I mean, everybody do their job. I mean, those guys are important to what we do, and certainly you want them to show up and do their job. But I think for the entire team, players, coaches, it's all about winning as a team and making sure that you do your part. So that's really the message to those guys.
And then with obviously everything going on this week, it's supposed to be really rainy and bad weather. Is that maybe a benefit to what you guys want to do on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know who it helps, which team, but certainly we understand playing down there on the lake that you're going to get the elements. So I thought it was good that we got some work in today in the wind and a little bit of rain. So you got to be ready to play in those elements with our stadium.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Matt. Tony Grossi, you're next.
So when you elevate Nick Mullins, does that mean Baker's out?
I don't know that we're ruling anybody out just yet, Tony. We have some roster flexibility that will continue taking information and making adjustments as necessary.
And if you use that COVID elevation, does that player have to stay active no matter what happens?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I have a direct line to Andrew Berry, though.
Okay. Want to share?
I will after I talk to him.
Thanks, Tony. Scott Patrick, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, I know the reports yesterday coming out of the owners' meetings that there's discussion about changing the protocol. Maybe you only have to have one negative test before you could be activated. Have you guys heard anything or talked to the league about that?
Yeah, I know, people in our organization are in contact with the league on things like that, but ultimately we're just business as usual, full speed ahead, making sure that we're ready to go. And that's our expectation.
And at the nickel spot with no Troy Hill and no Greg, what do you guys do there? And how much of a challenge is it with Hunter Renfrow?
Yeah, a couple options that we can do there, Scott. You mentioned Hunter Renfrow. He's outstanding. When the ball goes to him, he catches it. He can run away from you, quick, savvy, understands leverage, how to snap guys off, great hands. So we have our work cut out for us, but we do have a couple options we can do in there.
And again, what about safety? If you don't have John or Ronnie?
Yeah, guys have to step up. It's kind of this, name of the game here. So we've got plenty of guys that have gotten reps back there, have gotten game reps, and we'll work through that as a staff in terms of how we want to start the game, how we want to rotate, those type of things.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. We'll go to Dan Lobby.
Hey, Kevin, I'm just wondering at what point, if you're unable to coach on Saturday, at what point do you kind of hand the keys over to Mike?
Yeah, we've had some experience with this, Dan. So it's one of those deals where, we're in constant communication throughout the day, throughout the week. Once game day arrives, those final conversations that you have going into a game and talking about the conditions and how, what the conditions are on the field during pregame, those type of things. But once it hits 90 minutes, I can certainly hand the keys over, like you said. I mean, that's I trust Coach Preef. I trust all the coaches to do the job that's required.
And then just out of curiosity, how much time do you spend? I know he was talking about meeting with some of the guys in the analytics department, things like that. How much time do you spend going over some of that in-game decision-making stuff with him?
Yeah, we talk every week with our game management group. And we just, as you know, there's so many things that come up in the course of a game that you want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and you talk about how you think the game might unfold. And sometimes we peg it exactly right, sometimes we don't, but we want to have a plan going into it. And then more importantly, we want to have a plan, or we want to be ready to adjust based on the variables of that particular game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We have time for one more for Coach. Nate Orrick, all yours.
Hey, Kevin, when you say that Garrett and Clowney are expected to play, but they weren't at the walkthrough yesterday and they weren't out there today, did you make a decision to keep them away to ensure that they would get to game day?
With Jadeveon, he has an illness, so just felt like it was prudent to keep him away. And with Miles, just kind of going through the process of this and making sure that we're being smart. He was out there with his teammates at the end of practice there, so just trying to be smart with him.
Oh, so Miles was there today at the end of practice?
Yes.
Okay, and Jadeveon has an illness but is testing negative for COVID?
Yes.